Hello everybody and welcome to a special video from the two of us. We are doing a joint video talking about E3 because guess what? It happened. I don't know if you guys know it, but it happened. Don't tell anybody else, but it happened. So what we're going to be doing is we have some pre-made questions that we're going to answer, and then we'll talk about whatever else is interesting that we missed. So number one is, what was your favorite announcement slash footage piece? So in other words, whether it was an announcement like a trailer or teaser or a piece of footage. And for me, it's Final Fantasy VII Remake. I got it right off the gate. I'm a Final Fantasy VII fanboy. I don't give a fuck. I love 10, I love 7. And we got the HD remaster, and now we got the fucking remake, so I'm happy.
Of course you're happy. But of course we'll talk about later about the other two reasons why you're super happy.
Yeah.
As for my favorite announcement slash footage piece, honestly, I guess it's a little too cliche to say, the Final Fantasy VII remake. I mean,
Can't help it.
Yeah, I know, but more so my favorite, I guess, footage piece, because it's not necessarily an announcement, it was more of a footage piece, was the debut of not only the English title, but the English trailer for Fire Emblem.
Right.
I was just like, it just got me so stoked and pissed at the same time, since we gotta still wait another, 8 or 9 months for it to come out.
Uh-huh.
In America.
In America. I'll stop.
Yes, please do.
Okay, so do you want to start with question 2? And we'll just alternate.
Question 2 was, what was your least favorite announcement slash footage piece? Well, obviously, I'm not going to list anything that I don't care about at all, because, I feel like this question in particular should be more about, okay, if you don't care about it, you can't really call it your least favorite, because you don't really care about it either way.
Uh-huh.
So, in terms of my least favorite announcement, I'd have to say, would have to be probably the, what was it? I'm trying to think. Fuck, I forgot. Shit. Yeah, you go. I forgot.
Okay.
Shit.
Honestly, I made the question and I'm not even sure how to answer it. The Shin Megami Tensei thing was a little disappointing. I'm not too interested in Metroid. I love Metroid Prime, but I don't really care about the franchise. So I like Star Fox, but that didn't really bother me. Zero didn't really bother me. Smash was a good announcement, so I can't complain about that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Honestly, I don't think we could actually technically answer that question because it was either we cared about it or we don't care about it.
I'm gonna say the Shin Megami Tensei thing because it looks so turn offish for me, like really weird.
Yeah, it is very weird, especially since when they showcase, oh, these characters are actually these characters. You're like, wait a minute, what? They don't look anything like. For the most of them, most of the Fire Emblem characters that don't even look like their original characters
Uh-huh.
design. So it's like, really?
Mhm.
I mean,
Kaeda looked okay, but and Tiki, of course, but otherwise they kind of looked off. But
I don't. I guess that kind of. I guess that's. Or say, I don't. I guess my least favorite thing would have to be the announcement of more Animal Crossing shit. I don't why get I don't care for the series at all, and I just don't understand how the fuck anybody could be even into that series. Like, we don't need more Animal Crossing. It should just die and disappear.
yeah, I don't give a shit about Animal Crossing either, so I feel you on that one.
Normally I wouldn't, for this type of question, I wouldn't put it in the list if I don't care about it. But I mean, really, Animal Crossing, just the concept is just dumb.
Hmm. I don't
Like,
like it, but yeah.
so,
So,
alright.
best conference, Sony. Done.
That's a one word answer. Sony. Worst conference. I mean, the worst conference, honestly, you look at the big three: Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo. From an objective, and if you were inside each of the fandoms, the worst one would have been Microsoft. But as an outside observer, the one that drew me in the least was was Nintendo. Nintendo was just, or should I say, no, sorry. From an outside perspective, I actually I screwed that up. From an outside perspective, Microsoft had the least interesting and conference. But as an individual fan, if you as of the individual fandoms, if you meaning you should care about these various announcements, Nintendo had just a horrible showing because not only did they not really announce too much new stuff, but they also the stuff that they did announce just seems like just made it seem like they didn't care about these franchises. Like Metroid Prime getting a spin-off game and the friggin' Star Fox, like Star Fox game being yet another reimagining of the original game,
Hmm.
and just it just didn't wow you. I mean,
Right.
yes, it was very funny with the little bits they were doing, but it just seemed to drag on.
Hmm.
I mean, and you expect more from Nintendo, but Microsoft, it's just bad. Period. The Microsoft, like, there's not only was their conference bad, but they're just bad as a company, and video gaming company.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see Microsoft, so I can't say there, but uh,
They
for
just,
of what I saw on Nintendo, for me is my answer
yeah,
for obvious reasons, because Sony and Squeenix blew them out of the water. So,
yeah, but it's just like it just doesn't make Microsoft is just always bad. Nintendo isn't usually bad, which is why it's just hurts even more when they aren't that good.
hmm.
Uh,
All right, so number five, something you wanted to see that didn't make it in, Sly 5. I I don't know. I think the general consensus was that Sly 4 Thieves in Time was not the best in the series, but also not bad. Um, but I really enjoyed Sly 4. I think even though it was not Sucker Punch, that I think Sensor did a pretty good job of nailing Sly's gameplay. Granted, Murray and Bentley's gameplay needed ironing out like big time, but the core gameplay, which is Sly's gameplay, was pretty awesome. And so, really, I would like to see it back in Sucker Punch's hands and see them announce a new Sly, continue the story. But that was, for me, that was the big thing that didn't make it in that I wanted to see. So yeah.
well, I mean, going into it, I mean, there's a lot of things that you would love to see, and some things that are just certain things that are unrealistic, and some that aren't. But I mean, out of everything, I mean, it's nothing. I guess nothing necessarily too major, but I mean, I would have liked. I was disappointed that they didn't show off a new trailer for the Wii U Zelda title.
Right.
They didn't even give it a proper title yet.
Yeah, that's true.
And the other thing is, you know, I'm kind of surprised. Is more so a surprise. It's the fact that it's now pretty much official now. We've gone through since it hasn't been announced by E3's come and gone, and since it hasn't been announced yet, that's pretty much confirmation that we're not getting a main series Pokemon game this year.
Unless it's showed in TGS, in which
Uh,
case.
It's too soon. It
It's
would be
too late
it's
in the
unless
freaking
unless
life.
unless they unless they plan on releasing it early next year, like
Yeah,
they did.
Tokyo Game Show is in September, which is the last like major thing for games, so it's conceivable. You
But it's
just
like
unlikely.
so that I mean, but even then, it still falls under the category of not being this year.
Right.
So even if it is announced, and later this year that early next year we're going to get a new main series Pokemon game, the fact of the matter is that it's 100% impossible for them to make an announcement and have enough time to promote a new Pokemon main series Pokemon game.
All right. So I guess let's start talking about some of the bombshells because there were three major ones that were in E3, and I think they
That
were
we care about. That we care about. Remember.
no, not necessarily that we care about. The three major bombshells in E3 in total were Final Fantasy VII Remake, Shenmue 3, and Last Guardian. And I think they were all in Sony's conference. See, Final Fantasy VII is a given, but Shenmue 3, people have been asking for Shenmue 3 for years and years and years and years, and people have been asking for, well, Last Guardian's been, people were hoping it wasn't just going to become vaporware at this point, and they finally showed something. Uh,
Actual gameplay.
yeah, shit was supposed to come out like 5 years ago, and they
Mm-hmm.
just kind of put it off. Like you would think this is Square Enix working on them, but no, this was someone else entirely working on the Last Guardian. And to be honest, that
Yeah,
gameplay
but
didn't even look that interesting to me.
I mean, I thought Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer was a bigger bombshell than Last Guardian.
Mm, it wasn't because we were expecting Kingdom Hearts 3. It was it was like the Last Guardian was more or less like a like is it gonna are we finally gonna see it? And yes, we kind of knew that they were gonna show Kingdom Hearts 3 footage. Um,
Eventually.
we kind of knew it was coming in this E3.
I mean, I don't necessarily think we could have foreseen this particular one. I mean, it's more or less one of those things like we know it's coming. We know that the series itself is too popular for Kingdom Hearts 3 to just become vaporware. It's just a matter of when they're going to do it. And every year you're like, oh well, I'm expecting to see it at this one. And I guarantee you, if we didn't see a trailer next year, people will be like, oh, I'm expecting a Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer.
I mean, there was one last year, and then there's one this year, so it's fine. Um, but
Uh,
Last Guardian, they showed nothing for like 5 years, and so people literally thought this was going to become vaporware until they finally showed something. So I think as far as shock value goes, it's a lot higher. And
yeah, but at
Shenmue
the
3, of course, the Kickstarter, which in fact passed its goal very quickly.
Yeah, but I think out of all of the quote unquote three big bombshells, I think that the Last Guardian is ranked number three
Yeah,
on the list on that, with Final Fantasy VII Remake being number one. I
of
think.
course. That's what Final Fantasy fans have been asking for years as well, and they've been incessantly demanding that they remake, including AZX, of course, and I mean myself too. Um,
Anybody who's ever played a Final Fantasy game knows of how good Final Fantasy VII is, and knows how amazing it would be for it to be remade.
yeah, Shenmue 3, at least. I mean, they've been asked. I think that's like a 10-year running like petition, like, and they finally showed something. Like, so I've never played Shenmue, but I've heard a lot of great things, and like I'm happy for the fans because they've been fans since like 2003, 2004. Um, and that Kickstarter, they needed $2 million on that Kickstarter. That was the goal. They, as of I think yesterday, they hit over 3 million. Like, wow. Like that's some dedication right there from the fans.